So I was able to get into the Delta Force Hawk Ops closed alpha stress test server test thing that they are currently doing. It's like a play test right now. And if you don't know, Delta Force is an old PC game from, oh my gosh, I don't know how long ago it is. I never played it. I didn't even know what it was until this game came out, and then people were saying, oh, it's like a remake, and there's a little bit of controversy because people were seeing some like sort of, I guess, futuristic tech, sonar stuff, bow and arrow, weird stuff. But apparently there is a campaign that is going to be Black Hawk Down, and I guess this is a recreation of the original game that I did not play. But there are 3 modes in this game that are so far going to be there. There's going to be a campaign, a thing called Havoc Warfare, which is a giant PvP, large-scale battlefield style of multiplayer, and then there is an extraction shooter called Hazard Operations that you can go in and also experience. I am mostly going to focus on the battlefield style Havoc Warfare because for me, that is the type of shooter that I really enjoy. I love Battlefield when it was good. The campaign is not in this playtest, and there is, I believe, 1 map for the extraction shooter, and for me, I am not a big extraction shooter player, so I'll only briefly touch on it because I did play a little bit of it, but I've played mostly the Battlefield style mode called Havoc Warfare. So let's get into it. This game is gorgeous, it plays incredibly well, and it does sort of everything that I want Battlefield to do and not really sort of deviate too much from. This is very much a game where you have classes. Those classes do have abilities, so you have things like certain characters. Battlefield tried to do this too with having specialized characters that had abilities that acted sort of as a class with 2042, but also not really, and it didn't really know what it was trying to be. Here you do have classes that actively do a specific thing. You have Assault, Engineer, Medic, and Recon. And so those 4 classes, they are their own characters and they do have their own quirks. For instance, I believe there are 2 different sniper characters. One of them you have to unlock that I don't have yet, but they do have their own special abilities. One has a bow that uses like sonar arrows, and then the arrows also shoot like electricity, which can disable or sort of not even disable, but like hold off areas. So if people walk through them, they get shocked and take damage. There are 2 different variants of the engineer class, but they both have the engineer abilities. So they both use rocket launchers. They can both use the repair tools, and really where it comes down in terms of the difference is what is their other ability. One uses sort of like a sonar thing to disable people, while the other uses this weird like FPV drone that is kind of awkward to fly, but it explodes. You can run it into stuff and then it blows up into a couple of like a cluster bomb sort of thing. He also has like a fire grenade, and I really like this character a lot. I've been using them a lot, but they all have the same ability to, let's say for engineers, both of those characters have the ability to use rocket launchers and stuff like that, so that they are still the engineer class, but then their sort of utility item is a little bit different from the other. So it makes them a little more unique, and then they have their sort of quote unquote ultimate ability, which for the one guy is the FPV drone. It's kind of neat. The assault class does exactly what the assault class does, and the medic does what the medic does. And so for the medic, weirdly in this game, also can choose to throw ammo. So the medic can choose between a healing box and an ammo box, and they are on a timer, so they have to go on a timer before you will actually get anything from them in terms of either ammo or healing. But he does have a healing gun that if somebody is low on health, you can shoot them from a distance and it'll start the regeneration process. You can also heal yourself, which is nice. There is also the ability to revive people. The medic is special in that it can revive people faster. The assault class has a like exoskeleton that allows them to run faster and stuff like that. And the assault class is the only class that I noticed that can slide. So you can sprint and then hit crouch and then slide. And I would suggest, if a developer were to ever see this for whatever reason, make it to where every class can slide. I don't know why only the exosuit can slide, and it doesn't really seem to me like it would take away from the assault class if every other class could slide. And the assault class would still be able to move quickly with the exoskeleton, whereas the other classes couldn't. So I don't see why you don't just let people slide. Just is a thing. I would like to do that personally, but that's just me. There's leaning, there's cool like squad stuff that you can do. The recon can put down a squad respawn beacon. It's pretty much everything that you would expect Battlefield to have done, and then they do it. There's no weird like granny characters who are healing people or whatever the heck was going on in 2042 that they eventually rolled back. There are only 2 maps in this mode. I think one of the maps is reminiscent of a 2042 map a little bit with the cliffside and stuff like that. It's still a fun map. It's really good. And then the other map is very urban Middle East, and I believe it is from one of the original Delta Force maps. I'm not exactly sure though. Both are pretty good, and performance is relatively okay. In some areas the maps do get a little bit chuggy in some of the FPS stuff, but I also went out and then ended up doing a driver update for my graphics card, which did smooth that out quite a bit. So you know, hopefully there's some more optimization and stuff like that. But for right now, it runs pretty well. The only thing about the multiplayer Havoc Warfare that I'm not a huge fan of, other than like not being able to slide, I do think that the game has a lot of bots in it. And maybe it's just because it's a closed play test, but it does very much feel like many people on the enemy team and many people on my own team are bots. They're not real players. The people in my squad might be, but even then I'm not exactly sure. I'm not hearing a lot of comms, so I'm not hearing a lot of people using microphones. It does seem like the majority of people don't know that you can revive people. I was playing a match not too long ago where I died in a group of like 30 people on my team. Not a single person tried to revive me. And I think it's because they're bots. I really do. I get that maybe some people don't understand this thing and people don't want to play their class. Like if you're going to play a medic and you're not going to heal people and you're not going to revive people, don't play the medic. Go play something else. There's a lot of stuff to unlock. There are a lot of like little, I don't want to say battle passes, but there are a lot of like passes, battle pass style things where you have challenges you can do to unlock things. They could be like a weapon skin. One of them unlocks a character. One of them unlocks like a vehicle skin, stuff like that. So there are a lot of different passes that were free, at least in this. I don't know if they'll be paid later or not. I don't know much about the monetization. I don't know where that's going to go. But gunplay feels really good. The sounds are really good. It just, everything about this game has felt really fun and really good and crisp and responsive. However, back to the bots, there are a lot of times when I have been killed by bots or been killed by players, and it'll show me a Battlefield style who killed you sort of thing where it'll show you the person in like a red highlight and where they're at. I've been killed by people through walls across the map before. Like it's really weird. I don't understand what is happening, if it's maybe targeting the wrong person that killed me, that sort of thing. It is kind of irritating when that happens and I don't know who actually killed me, because there are people who've killed me and I'm like, there's no freaking way that guy killed me. So that's a little bit of a nuisance. And since there are also what seems to be bots, they are lasers. You will die very quickly in this game, although you do have the ability to get away from stuff. Bots will laser you if they decide to shoot at you, and I have had instances where I have just turned corners and instantly been killed before. Weapon unlocks basically are like any other FPS game. You use a weapon, the weapon levels up, you unlock attachments for it, and it has a sort of gunsmith system that I believe is similar to Tarkov, but don't quote me on that one because I haven't really played much of Tarkov. I believe it's like you've got the gun gun in the middle, and then it has like a bunch of little stems coming off of it, and you can be like, oh, I'm gonna click this and this and this and change this and this and this and put stuff on it. It's nice, it works, I like it a lot, and it's fun. It's a neat little system. But speaking of Tarkov, let's talk about hazard operations. Now, like I said, I'm not a big extraction shooter player, so take my opinion on any of this with a grain of salt, because if you are a hardcore extraction shooter player, then you may hate this. I don't actually know, but this very much feels kind of like a little bit of a mix between like a Call of Duty and also like a Gray Zone Tarkov-y style thing. It's a little bit more arcadey, and the characters do have their abilities. So if you are going in with a healer character, they can heal themselves, they can heal their teammates and stuff like that. But you do have things like localized damage. You can start bleeding out. You do need to heal yourself. You have armor. You do pick up items and equip them just like an extraction shooter. But it seems like a lot of the stuff has been streamlined. Now, I don't know if they do this in Tarkov or not, but I took damage in one game and noticed that I could go to my character, click the health thing, and if I had the item in my inventory, all I had to do was click the limb that was affected or click the body part that was affected, and it would just use the item automatically. I didn't need to know what type of damage I took. I didn't need to know what each item did, anything like that. It just used it, and then you had to go through the animation and heal up and stuff like that. For the most part, there were things to do in the little map that I played on. It wasn't that small of a map, it's pretty decent size. There is AI, there's also other players, although I'm pretty sure those players were bots also. But you go in there, you look for items, you take it to an extraction, you get out of there. There are objectives you can accomplish. There is a bunker system, kind of like a hideout stash system like Tarkov that you can build up. So there are quests, there are all kinds of things. There's a lot that you can dive into if this is your type of thing, and if you're looking for a more arcadey style of extraction shooter, maybe this will be for you. It was a good time. I've been having fun with the game so far. The Havoc Warfare large scale system has been my jam, and I've been enjoying it a lot. Very few complaints, really. Like I said, it mostly involves the bots, and it mostly involves getting shot through walls and stuff like that. There might be some minor things that I can't think of right now, but for the most part, it's all been fun. I've been enjoying myself. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, put them in the comments down below. I'll try to answer them best I can. And I'll see you guys next time. Bubba Game Reviews, out.